其他重要方面。
I have spent a lot of time in my life on that issue. Let me begin by saying, lovingly and sympathetically, that Time and Newsweek are not the most reliable sources for accurate theology. The main difference, perhaps, comes down to something like this. If you know John Calvin's 4 books of the Institutes, Book 1 has to do with the work of God the Father in creating and providing for the world. Book 2 has to do with God the Son who redeems us. Book 3 has to do with God the Holy Spirit who works within us as individuals, personally. And Book 4 has to do with God the Holy Spirit who works upon us, outside of us, socially, culturally. Those are the broad lines. Now, Pentecostalism and Neo-Pentecostalism of our day is what I would call Book 3 Calvinism. It tends to be personal, private, family, small community at the most, tends to be somewhat isolated, tends to be critical of spirits outside, and tends to be focused on personal love, personal relations, devotions, prayer, the main topics of Book 3 in Calvin, which are faith, regeneration, justification, sanctification, self-denial, and affirmation of the work of the Holy Spirit within us personally, and including also predestination and prayer and meditation on the future life. These are strong, and I'm not being critical here. I want to commend all of that, but there's more. There's the work of the Holy Spirit, God the Father through the Spirit in creation, in providence, in conservation, in ecology. Book 1. There's the work of God the Son, not only in saving me as a person, but in the social context in which I live and the total cultural milieu. And there's the work of God in the church, okay? Not only my local church, but the church of all ages and the church of all places, and the church of each paradigm of world history. And when we shrink the work of the Spirit to us personally, we are neglecting some very important aspects of the total gospel. In evangelical thought in general, and certainly in what we call fundamentalism, the focus is on Jesus saves. The focus in Kuyper is on Christ is Lord, not only of me personally, but of the total society and the total culture and the total cosmos. That is big, and I think that's exciting.
在哈佛求学时，他的导师理查德·尼布尔鼓励他不要只做加尔文基督教教义第3卷的信徒，而是要思考全4卷，就是包括上帝对世界的创造、护理等主题的凯波尔式的整全改革宗事业。
Back in the 1940s and 50s, the Niebuhrs were regarded in most Christian Reform circles as liberal because they were preaching the gospel of social concern. We have changed, which is just one of many indications of how church communities can change. But when I first went to Harvard in my first year, I argued with Richard R. Niebuhr about many things. And at the beginning of my second year there, he called me into his office. And he said, "Phil, we have to talk." I said, "Good." And he said, "Let's begin by saying that you and I are both Reformed. And we both